I would say my biggest advice is just let it go. Oh, an influencer's coming. Like, we don't know how that person's gonna be. Like, I don't know what I think. I'm a new grad nurse. How to deal with nurse bullies. So I've had this issue. Sometimes I'm running around like a mad woman. I wish I had a video like this when I was starting. Oh, I love pediatrics so much. How to choose where to nurse live post-grad. That's the greatest thing because you can go anywhere. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. My name's Anna, and if you're new here, I am a pediatric nurse in New York City, and I have been for a year and a half. I started June 2021, and now it's September 2022. And I'm gonna go over my whole entire year, my whole entire experience, answer all your questions about being a new grad nurse because I'm on my second to last shift. I quit. I'm not quitting nursing. I'm gonna get a job in Charleston. I'm just moving from New York City to Charleston. Go watch my whole moving video. I explain everything, why I'm moving, blah, blah, blah. Let's start the rumors. My number one question, you're gonna quit nursing to be an influencer, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm still gonna be a nurse. Just give me time. I need time to like figure myself out. I wanna move. I wanna focus on creating my room and dream room and settle in Charleston and meet up with people and like, I gotta switch my license over. I just wanna relax, hang out with friends, self-care, get my life together, change. I'm flipping a whole new chapter. So give me time. But when I do nursing, I'm gonna take you guys along the whole process and it's gonna be so fun applying for jobs. So stay tuned on that. But we're gonna go over how it's been for me. And I want to help new grads like you guys, or if you're a nursing student, or if you're already a nurse, I don't know. I just wanna help you guys and share my experience because I wish I had a video like this when I was starting. It is 5:46 and we kind of need to leave for work in like 15-20 minutes. No, like the 25 minutes. So buckle up, let's get to chatting. So let's start by a summary. I started in June, but I kind of took my time. I graduated in December of 2021. Then I took my time like I did when I'm about to move to Charleston. I focused on moving, settling in. I have my other job, this. So I just focused on that, and then I focused on studying for the NClex, and I took the NClex in like February or March. Passed that in 75 slay, and then I started applying for jobs. Applying for jobs was hard because I knew I wanted to be a pediatric nurse, and I knew I was gonna settle for nothing else. I mean, actually, I just knew I didn't want to do adult med surg, so I applied to like L&D, like mother baby, PICU, peds, anything. And it was hard for me applying in a new city because I didn't know a single person here who was in healthcare. So I just kind of freaking winged it. I was like, top hospitals in New York City. Like, I don't know. And of course, my hospital came up, slay. By the time this is coming out, I don't work there anymore. So I worked at New York Presbyterian Hospital. You probably have seen it on my scrubs. It's like, I tried to hide it at first, but like, there's no hiding it. It's like literally on our scrubs. But they are a top hospital in the whole United States, which I'm so excited because my boss is like, you're gonna be so good. We're gonna, like when you apply at places, people see that on your resume and they're like, whoa. So, and they say like our place is so high acuity that like it helps you at other places because our med surg floor might be in other places pick you. So I'm just saying what everyone else is saying. I'm not saying this, but I know there's like NYU here, there's Mount Sinai and Lenox Hill, and I know they're all super great, but this is the only peds hospital in the city, like fully peds hospital. Other places have like peds floors, I think, but I think this is the only like full children's hospital. I might be wrong. It's okay if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. So I just applied a bunch here, and then somebody told me to apply to the things that say staff nurse position or clinical nurse. I thought that meant higher up, but clinical nurse really meant like you're a new nurse. So I applied to those. I applied to the HEMONC one, and I heard I got a job from that, which that is technically our 5 tower. I work on 4 tower. So our 4 tower is med surg, GI, transplant based. 5 towers HEMONC / med surg. So I got a job interview for the HEMONC floor, and then my manager, the manager of that floor who does the hiring was out of town. First, I had an interview with HR. I made TikToks about my interviews, etc. HR was a short meeting. They ask you questions. I can do a whole video if you guys want on like my interview process because like I had like a 20-page study guide. I did not need to go that in depth, but like I wanted to be prepared for the questions they asked me, and they did ask a lot of questions. So they ask a lot of scenario questions, like what do you do if this happens? And like I was like, I don't have that many scenario experiences because I didn't have that much clinical experience, but whatever. So I looked up all these different scenarios, used some from clinical, and yeah, I can go more into the interview process if you guys would like another video, but this is more about my experience on the job. Interviewed, killed the interviews. I will say I was so proud of my interviewing. I think I did so well, and I just interviewed twice and then I got the job. Like my second interview was with, so the 5 tower manager was out of town. She was on honeymoon in Italy, so my manager, shout out Stacy, I love you. She stepped in for the 5 tower manager just to like help her out and fill in for her. She loved me so much. She took me for her floor, which I'm so excited because it worked out so well. Like some of my best friends ever are on 4 tower, and it just makes sense. Like I should be on 4 tower. Like I love it. I think it was just perfect because my floor, like at first she like called an offer and I was like, GI, like I'm scared. Like I don't want that. But like it worked out so good. Like we get like on my floor, we get short guts, we get liver transplants, we get multivisceral transplants, we get halo traction, scolies, we get asthma, respiratory kids, which at first respiratory kids scared the fork out of me because like because like respiratory is just like, I like things like black and white. Like I learned to hang TP and lipids on night, because at night you hang TP and lipids, which if you don't know what that is, it's like, it's not food, but it's kind of like food for kids who can't really take feeds. It's like nutrition. And so we hang that on night, and normally days takes it down. So I learned how to hang that, and I love that because like you just get sterile. It's step by step. Step A, step B, step C, step D, whatever. You hang it, you do it. It's like black and white. Respiratory kids freaked me out because it's like, oh, suction PRN, suction as needed. Oh, do you think they need like chest PT? Oh, do you think they need to be suctioned? Oh, do you think they need to go on CPAP? I'm like, I don't know what I think. I'm a new grad nurse. But I will say I've gotten used to respiratory kids, and I know when to suction. I know how to suction, and I'm still like bad at it, but like, hey, you just ask like a charge nurse, hey, can you come listen to this kid with me? Like, what do you think? Boom. Ask a friend. So everything gets settled out. But I will say, starting as a new grad nurse, everything's super black and white. And it's just like, oh my God, like the doctor ordered this, but like it's not gonna work. Like it doesn't always work how you want it to, and that's okay. And you'll learn. It's called nursing judgment, and you'll pick up on that with time. Like for example, like last night I had a kid, and like I was like, they're kind of being weird. Like this baby's like arching and they're stiffening their legs. Like that's giving a little neuro-y. So like I went to go chart that, and the nurse behind me, I didn't even see this note before I thought of that, and she said baby arching, stiffening, unconsolable, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I also thought that. So it's really cool. Like I didn't start getting that nursing judgment until I would say like 7-8 months in. So like it's okay. Like I was still, everything was so black and white, and everything was the biggest deal to me for like 8 months, and it still sometimes is. Like I still freak the fuck out, but like luckily I had my friend Morgan, who's 6 months ahead of me, so she was like, you are literally me. So I had her to like go and call in the corner and cry if I was freaking out about something, and she would be like, hey, like this happened to me a couple months ago, like I'm here for you. And then I also always have the charge nurse on our floor, who like, the charge nurse is who you go to like if you have a problem that like you need to escalate. So like whether it's like a parent problem, or like they need to call AOD, or like they're complaining about something, or like say I don't know how to do this, it's a higher level question that nobody on the floor knows how to do, like I go to the charge nurse. Like it just depends on the charge nurse. Like I love the charge nurse. I always go to them freaking out, and they just help me. So normally on our floor it's an older person. Other floors I've heard people of my age being charged. I could never be charged. I'm a little nervous for that if that happens sooner on a new floor, but my friends do it and they're fine. It just like blows my mind because at my hospital I've been there 1.5 years and I'm nowhere near charge. Like I'm still the newest new grad on the floor, which is so insane because our floor has such good turnover. For example, 5 Tower, where I would have been, 8 new grads have started after me, but here I'm still the newest new grad. We've hired 2 people, but both of them had experience. But now that I'm leaving, they just randomly hired 7 new grads. So now there's a ton of new grads, but like I'm leaving anyways. Like I'm all over the place, but we're gonna answer like some of your questions at the end. But right now I'm just hopping around like my experience and stuff. But my floor, you have a new grad residency program, and it's a year-long program, which was super nice. But all you do is you meet once every 2 weeks with our nurse educator. Her name was Shen. She's the best. And so you meet with her, and you meet with like your bosses, and then you all come together and you have progress meetings. So like we go over progress meetings. I've had a little tool of a worksheet I had to fill out, like how it went, a concept map on a patient. It's not like school though. It's not that hard, and it's easier to talk about because you like fully understand more like what's going on, and you just meet with them, and your preceptor comes and you just meet and say how you're doing. All my progress meetings went amazing. Like my preceptor would, I'm not bragging, but like she was just like, she's doing really good. Like, and then I'd say, hey, I think I need to work on this. They'd be like, oh, Anna hasn't seen blood given. Oh, Anna hasn't seen a central line. Like, and then they'd work with the charge nurse on day shift to like assign me what I needed to see, so I could see everything with my preceptor, so that when I'm on my own, there's nothing that I haven't seen. Sometimes it is hard. Like I didn't get to have a trait kid because like we didn't have a trait kid while I was on orientation. But when I got my first trait kid, people helped me and like helped me figure out what to do, because I'm like, hey, I've never done this before. For example, last night I changed my first central line dressing, because central line dressings, I mean, I've helped it on day shift, but like I've never done it myself. But central line dressings are like something you do during day shift. Like you change them every 7 days unless they get soiled. And last night my kid threw up on the central line dressing, so I had to change it, but I had help from the charge nurse. So progress meetings went great for me. It was really great. They said, what do we need to work on? Blah, blah, blah. And just, I felt very supported. And if I had any problems, I'd come to them. And yeah, so those were great. But you're paired with a preceptor, and normally they try to keep it the same preceptor, but sometimes like obviously they have to call out or they have to switch a shift. So sometimes you have a couple different ones. Mainly I had one for day shift and one for night, but I kind of had a few like rotated. I loved all my preceptors. They were so incredible. You can sign up for what's called primaries. So you can make a kid your primary. And that means every time that kid comes in, they have a list of primaries. So say like 4 nurses are this kid's primary. We'll say John. There's no kid named John. I'm making that name up. Say John comes in. The charge nurse who makes the assignment says, oh, John has 4 primaries. So then it goes by seniority. So it's like, say Trini, for example, is an older nurse than me. If she's there that night, she gets Johnny. Say Trini's not there, and then Stephanie's not there, who, I don't know who Stephanie is. And then say I'm the 3rd primary list. I'm 3rd on the list, and I'm the youngest, but I'm the only one there. I'll get my Johnny. So it's really cool to have primaries because like it's really cool for a kid, and the parents love when like you know that kid and they're regulars. We have a lot of regulars on our floor, like shortcuts, the transplants, like they're coming in a lot because they have this their whole life. and so they're just coming in a lot, and so it's cool to have a primary nurse who like knows them, loves their family, and yeah. So I think primaries are really cool, and like I've grown really close to kids on orientation because my nurse had a kid who is near and dear to my heart, and I'm gonna miss them with my whole heart. You get really attached to these kids, but he was her primary, and so I became his primary after I got off orientation because I was with him every single day. I knew his med regimen, I knew him, I loved him, I played with him, I knew his mom. Like it just, oh, I love pediatrics so much. I could get into that forever. But so then I became his primary when I was on my own, and it's hard to get him because he has a lot of primaries, but even when I don't have him, I go in and play with him and hang out and help with him and stuff like that. So it's like good when they go home, but you're like, I miss them so much, but I don't want them here because like that means there's a problem if they're here. So yeah, that's how primaries on our floor work. Again, I don't know if that's how it is on every floor, but like that's how it was on our floor. What else? So you're on orientation. I think I did like 12 weeks on days, or did I do like 8 weeks on days? 8 or 12 weeks on days, and then I moved to night shift. And that was scary because like I only saw like the night shift nurses when I was giving report. And so I was like, oh my God, like there was a group of young people and I was like, are they gonna like me? Like I'm scared. So then I went to nights and got my night preceptor and slowly started to fit in and slowly started to like vibe with them. But at first it's scary, especially it's scary being like the TikTok girl. Like obviously before you start, your boss sends an email saying like, hey, Annaheid starting on 4 Tower. You look up the new person and obviously my TikTok and shit pops up. So they tell me now it's funny. They were like, yeah, we thought like you were gonna be a bitch. And I was like, I know, because everyone gets this bad rep about influencers, but if you actually watch my stuff, I feel like I'm real as fuck on my TikTok and I talk like this. Like I talk to you guys like this. This is how I am in real life. Do I give a bitch? Like I don't think I do. I don't know, but like I get it. Like, oh, an influencer's coming. Like we don't know how that person's gonna be. Like they probably think they're all this and money and shopping and I don't know. So I had a hole I was in and I had to dig myself out of it. But I did because they were like, then we met you and you were like the sweetest, cutest human on earth. So like you were fine. Like you were just really sweet and like cool. And I was like, oh, thank you guys. It just took me a second. But I do struggle with people from other floors talking shit about me or like not knowing me or judging my character. And I know that because I hear it. At our hospital, we have what's called floats and they float between different floors. So, which I don't know if I could ever be a float. It's cool because they get to experience different floors, but like they come to work and they don't know what floor they're going to be on until they get to work that day. So I have some friends in float pool. So it's really fun getting to work and being surprised with like, say our floor is short a lot. I'll be honest. So like if we're short a nurse, we get floats a lot. Like since I've started on our floor, I've never been floated, nor has anyone on our floor ever been floated because we're never the floor that has too many nurses. We like need them. But we're never short staffed where we're unable to do our job. Like they always come with floats. So some days are harder than others. Like we're all like helping each other out more, but for the most part, we're like staffed well. And I know our hospital is like very like treated well because we're NICE-NA, New York Nurses Association. So we're under, I don't know what all that means, but like basically we're under, there's some word for it that like we're like looked out for. I don't know. It's not like that everywhere, but I know I'm like pretty spoiled at this hospital. Like I know not every hospital is gonna be like that. I'm super lucky that that was my first job because I know it's like not like that everywhere. So at first it was hard to adjust to nights because like at first I freaked out about like what am I gonna eat? How am I gonna work out? What is my schedule gonna be like? And I was like so black and white, like this is gonna fuck up my routine. And like it does, but like you just, I would say my biggest advice is just let it go. Eat when you're hungry, work out if you have time, work out on your off days. Like do not stress because I wasted so much time like stressing, like staying up at night stressing about like how I'm gonna stay in routine, and then it just falls into place. Like my routine for a night shift is before the first on, say I have a stretch of 3. Before the first night on, I try and stay up late that night and then till 2 or 3, which isn't hard because I'm a night owl. I'll just watch my favorite TV show, eat dinner late, and then I'll sleep in, and normally I can sleep until like 1 or 2. Then I'll get up, I'll work out, I'll have coffee, and I'll have another coffee before work, and then I'll go in for my first shift of 3. In between shifts, I'll sleep from point A to point B. Sometimes I'll get up early and work out and go to the gym. So I'll get up like 4:35, go to the gym, pack my gym stuff, and go straight to work. My last day, so say I'm off that night. Say I get off at 7 a.m., I go home and sleep. I set my alarm early. Instead of 4 or 5, I set it for 2 or 3. Schedule a workout class or something. Have coffee, oatmeal, workout class. Schedule something, a nail appointment, seeing a friend, so you have to get up. And then normally you'll be tired enough since you only got 4 to 5 hours sleep to go back to sleep that night at a decent time, and then you're back to a regular schedule. It's easier said than done, but you'll get used to it, I promise. Like you will get used to it, your body will just adjust to it. It took me a minute, but like now I feel like I'm in a routine. Why is it dark outside? What is happening? Daylight savings time, and it's pouring rain, so I kind of gotta go soon. So excuse me if I'm talking super fast, but that's the routine. Some people go to bed normal time before their first on, wake up super early, like 7 a.m., 6, 7, go work out, go do their day, get stuff done, and then they'll go back to sleep. That doesn't work for me because sometimes I stress out about going back to sleep. My best friend though has been melatonin sleep gummies. I love these so much, and I take them like in the morning when I get back from work and even at night when I need to go to sleep. So get some melatonin, get you a little sleep mask. That's huge for night shift. I lost mine in the move. I don't know where it is. I need to order a new one. And then get get blackout curtains. That's also huge. That's your night shift tips. Night shift, I feel like, is pretty busy, like the beginning of the shift. Sometimes you'll have chill time in the middle of the shift. Sometimes I'll bring something to do. I'll get work done from my other job if I'm done charting, and if my kids need me, I'm still at the nurse's station, like just doing stuff on my phone from my other job. But sometimes I've been busy running around until 4 a.m. straight for like 7-8 hours straight, and I won't even get to sit down and chart until then. Let's talk about rapids. If you have a kid go bad, I'm a med surg floor, so if they're on our floor, they should be pretty stable, knock on wood. If they're not, we call what's called a rapid. I've seen one code on our floor. I wasn't involved in it, and I don't even think the code actually got called, but knock on wood. For the most part, we have rapids. So say I see a kid's declining, like I can call it rapid. I don't think I've ever called a rapid up myself, but I've had nurses come in on my patients. I've had 4 or 5 of my own rapids, and I've had nurses come in and been like, well, let's call a rapid. Hey, call it for her. So yeah, I've called my own. My first one, I remember I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Somebody help me. But the charge nurse comes immediately. Everyone on the floor comes, and they're so helpful. They're like, hey, Anna, like, do your other kids need anything? Like, I know you need to be in this rapid, because all the doctors come, the fellows come to pick you, nurses come, and everyone's there for you. And then my floor people are like, hey, Anna, like, I got your other kids. What meds do you need me to give? At least that's how my floor works, and everyone's so helpful, and it's so amazing. Like on night shift especially, like our families like this, like if you're walking even remotely fast, somebody's like, hey Anna, are you good? Like, do you need help? And I'm like, wow, that is just amazing. So do you hear that thunder? That's not gonna be fun to walk in. So yeah, my floor is super helpful, and my first rapid, my charge nurse helped me so much, like had my back. But I will say there was one rapid I was super proud about. It was one of my primaries, and I knew him very well, and I'm the one who like noticed. I was like, since the beginning of the shift, I was like, hey, blah 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 is not doing well. Like, he is not his normal self. He is not being happy. He's not giddy. He's tired. He's being like just not himself. And I was telling everyone, I was like, he's not okay. Little do you know, his heart rate was super low, and then he was just super tired. And I was like, this is not right. Somebody come look at this. She came and looked. She was like, this is not right. His vitals, his heart rate's super low. He's braiding. Let's call rapid. Like, this is not normal for him. Sure enough, like, he went immediately to the PICU, but there wasn't enough beds, so then they had to do all this stuff at bedside. They had to switch our report. He ended up being okay and went to the PICU and stuff, but like, that was the first time like I was vouching for this kid, and I felt so confident in it. Like, doctors were like, hey Anna, is this normal? And I was like, no, this is not normal. This is what he normally does. And the parent wasn't there, so like I was literally vouching for my patient, and like I'm so passionate about that. Like, that's why I'm like super kind of interested in PICU, because I want time to deep dive into my patients and like know them and vouch for them and be in their corner at all times. And sometimes it's hard on a med surg floor when you can have 4 kids and it's like chaos, like running around. You have anywhere from 2 to 4 kids. I've had 1 like maybe one time, but if you have 1, you're getting an admission ASAP. So last night I had 2 because my kids were higher acuity. So today I have 2 again, but I wouldn't be surprised if I admit tonight if we're short. Sometimes you have 4, and sometimes it's hard to like med surg floor be like 4 kids. If you have 4, like they shouldn't be that high of acuity, but like still like whether they need stuff, like sometimes I'm running around like a mad woman. PICU, I know you can have like 2 higher level acuity kids, and like I know the PICU nurses are like sitting right in front of them, observing them at all times. You have central monitoring. Our floor doesn't have central monitoring. We're the only one in the hospital that doesn't, which means we can't see their vital signs outside the room. Like, there's no tele monitors, heart monitors. So I have to go into the room and like keep checking the kids' vitals to like make sure they're good. So that's why if they need a higher level of care, we will send them to a higher level of care. So that's kind of how our floor works. I feel like I gave you guys a good synopsis of like my last year of just me blurbing about it. It was kind of all over the place, but I feel like I've done good at like explaining how like I've gotten from point A to point B and how I feel now and kind of how my floor works and how it works in New York. We have an ED. Kids come to the ED. They'll be down there for hours or not, depends how busy they are. Then the ED nurse will text charge and say, hey, this kid's getting assigned to bed 410, bed 2. We have a couple shared rooms, but most are individual rooms, but some are shared rooms. And then we cohort them by illness, whatever, isolation. So then that charge nurse goes, oh, Anna can take a kid. Like, let me go text her. Anna, can you take a kid? And I'm like, yeah. So then she says, Anna's in charge of the patient. The ED reaches out to me. Hey, are you ready for a report on this kid? If I'm not, I'm saying, hey, I'm busy 1 second. But sometimes they're like, answer, like, we're busy. And I'm like, I'm busy too. Then I'll take a report on the kid. But if the ED gives a report, it's not really a report. They'll just copy and paste a note, or they'll be like, any questions? And I'm like, but yeah, so then I'll look through the kid's chart, I'll look at their vitals, make sure they're stable, I'll make sure the last med was given, I'll make sure they have the correct PRNs, I'll ask questions if I have any. Then they'll send the kid up, I'll meet the family. At first, admissions were so scary because I was like, I don't know what to say. I'm like, welcome to Ford Tower. Are you up to date on your vaccinations? Like, save your diapers, we have to measure them. Like, but now I'm better at admissions, but like, it's still nerve-wracking. Like, I'd rather discharge someone because like, you have your whole packet, you have your list, they're ready to go, here's what you do, here's your follow-up. But admission, I'm like, I don't know. And sometimes admissions, like sometimes the ED will send them up and they're just like not well, and I'm like, oh, rapid. But like, that hasn't happened in a while. Honestly, that really doesn't happen. Like, I've seen that happen to other people normally, like, knock on wood. wood, I've been okay with my admissions, but sometimes like you have to do a lot for admission, like run around, get things set up, get feed set up. The doctor has to do the orders. Direct admits are super hard because they come from outside hospitals, and then like all those orders get like mixed and messed up. But I think I've only had like 2 direct admits myself. So that's how we get admitted. Sometimes there's things called transfers. They transfer from another hospital or transfer from another unit, and those are easy because you don't even have to chart a whole admission. You just transfer them. But if it's from the PICU, it's like a little harder because like obviously they were higher level care, so you really need to like their watchers. What else? Those are admissions. I feel like we really don't have time to answer questions because it's 6:09 and I need to leave right this second. Okay, that's dramatic. Not right this second, but like I need to leave soon. Oh, let's talk about report. Report was so scary for me at first because report is what you give at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. You give report to day shift, report to night shift. Sometimes you give all 3 kids to the same nurse. Sometimes you're giving a report to 4 different people. It just depends, whatever's easier, whatever the charge thinks balances the assignment for the day. So sometimes it just depends, but I remember giving a report on orientation was so scary. My preceptor was there with me, but I'd be like, this kid is history of shortcut and they're here for this, but I don't know what this means. And like we have a report sheet. I actually packed one in my back. I'm gonna make a TikTok showing you guys my personal report sheet, and then for Tower, every kid who's there has a report sheet and we pass it on. But then I have my own individual report sheet. I'll show you guys another day or on TikTok. So we have a 4 Tower kid report sheet, and so that gets passed on, and when I give you a report, I read off that and then I give it to you. So that helps my floor a lot. You don't read your own report sheet, so you don't have to write as much on your own, even though I still do. So we read that, and it goes by systems. It has like neuro, musculoskeletal, GI, respiratory, PIV, central line if they have one, and it starts with like this kid's name, this is their weight, this is their age, no ISO, here's their background and history, here's why they're here, neuro, musculoskeletal, cardiac, IV, GI, respiratory, and it goes in that order, and then any other things you need to tell them. And then like I look at my own report sheet to make sure I didn't miss anything or if any events happened for the night. So that system makes it so much easier to give a report, but at first I was so bad, and I feel like that was the thing that took me so long to get. But now I feel like I'm very confident in my report, and I don't let anybody shake me, because sometimes some people have a question and sometimes it freaks me the fuck out, or people can be a little mean to a report and they're like, well, why didn't you do this? Nursing's a 24-hour job, so do not let anybody shake you. You did your best, and if you did, that's all that matters. So report will come with time and you'll get better at it, I promise. It took me so long. I was so bad at reporting, I'd go home crying. Like a bad report can really just change your whole shift. But I'm gonna do a whole TikTok on like how I do report and like my tips and stuff and how I got better at it. As long as you just go everything, hit the bullets, and make sure that kid is covered, you're good. So I'm gonna go get ready for my shift, the rest of the shift, but I'm gonna come back with this video and answer your questions because I haven't even gotten to that part and I have to go to work. So hopefully tomorrow before work I have time to answer your questions. So stay tuned for that part of the video. I love you guys, and I'll see you when I pick up the camera again. Hi guys, I'm back with the Q&A, my experience video. I just wanted to come on here and finish this off for the Q&A. I'm ready for shift 3 of 3, my last shift of this job. I asked you guys questions on Instagram, so we're gonna answer a couple before I go to work tonight. How to choose where to nurse live post-grad. That's the greatest thing because you can go anywhere. I was like, fuck it, let's try New York. I didn't like New York. Fuck it, let's leave. Like, you can go anywhere. It just depends who you are. I can't tell you what to do. I would go somewhere where you have somewhat of a support system, or you can go somewhere and start new. I'm going back to where I have a support system. I came here with one person I knew and then just really balled out, but I don't regret. But I do want to go back to my little support system. Best study tips, specifically anatomy, help a girl out in nursing school. Get a study group. Me and my study group were BFFs, and we had so much fun with it. Like, some of our best nights ever were spent in the library. That sounds crazy, right? It's true. And so, yeah, find your little group and have fun with it. And then anatomy, I would just like rewrite. And then we would all at our groups have a big study guide, and we'd pass it around, take turns reading, and like bounce off each other. And it would just help me to like remember things. What your new position will be and why you switched. I don't know if I'm gonna switch positions. I think I want to. I think I want to try PICU. I don't know though, that might just be me being insane. I'm gonna talk to some of the girls at the other hospital I'm applying. I've already had a ton reach out. Thank you so much if you're one who has reached out, and just kind of learn about the unit and like take my time and like ask questions in the interview. But I'm super interested in PICU or HEMONC. I don't know. I'm just somebody who loves to switch things up, if you guys haven't caught on. But I am very glad I started on my floor because it's med surg and we've seen everything. Okay, not everything, but a lot of things. What degree do you have to be a nurse? I got my 4-year undergrad BSN at my college. But a lot of people do like a quick like one after college, after the 4 years. Opinions on nurse residencies, currently applying for one. I told you guys mine was a year. The meetings once a month were kind of stupid because like they went over random stuff, but like I did feel super supported having one. I highly recommend finding a residency program just so like you're super supported as a new grad nurse. Would you ever switch to outpatient? I don't know. The 9 to 5 schedule, 5 days a week just doesn't seem like my vibe. I kind of love the 3 days a week. If anything, I do like PRN outpatient or PRN bedside, but I love bedside right now. It's my vibe. but maybe one day. How to deal with nurse bullies. So I've had this issue with people on other floors or like some people on my floor, and you just have to ignore it. You just have to get there. And like I went through a phase where like I would sit in a pod alone and just like be there to work. Like I was like really upset with just what I was hearing people were saying, and so I would just go alone and just sit alone and just be there to work. And that's fine if you just want to get to work and work, but it made the shifts not as fun for me. So I found my friends that are close to me and I know that actually mean a lot to me and care about me and look out their best for me and cling to them. So not everybody's gonna like you. You're not gonna be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. Just be respectful, and obviously if it gets out of hand, report it, but nothing that was crazy I had to report. I just had to like get it off my chest to my friends. It's especially hard when you're a freaking TikToker. Like it's a little crazy to do. Thoughts and feelings, etc. Your first day off of orientation and by yourself. I remember being so overwhelmed because, well, my first shift off, they gave me a super easy assignment. So I was like, please, I got this. Next day I had a kid who like had meds every hour and 2 other kids, and I was like running around and I was like, I can't do this. I had TP and lipids, like what is going on, blah, blah, blah. But I had help and I figured it out, and I just feel like every shift off orientation was like, but then it slowly chilled out. So it'll get better. Work hairstyles, I definitely want to do some more fun ones. I feel like this is gonna go up probably anyways, but this one's cute. I had these French braids the last shift, and so I just let them come out today. But yeah, I definitely want to try some more in my new job. New grad advice: ask lots of questions, make friends with other new grads if they're there, hop on everything. If your preceptor gets up to go in a room, go in with her, go do everything you possibly can, ask for opportunities, follow everything, take advantage of being on orientation and having people to guide you. What kind of tasks do you do on your unit? I hang TP and lipids. We draw labs off central lines. We do halo traction pin care. We can suction. We can do chest BT. We don't do CPAP. We call respiratory for CPAP, but we do have kids on CPAP. I pass meds a lot. I hang IV meds, bed baths, diaper changes. I'm forgetting so many things. Those are just a few. We have a lot of ostomies on our floor, which for those kids is like little poop bags. So we'll like change those, empty those. Med pass tips: go one kid at a time. Don't try and be all cool and like get all your meds at one time, because like that can get confusing, especially when you have kids. I go in, I'm like, okay, let's look at my 3 kids. Which meds are the most important? Okay, this kid, he has Tacro, which you need if you have a transplant. It helps fight rejection. So this kid needs his meds at 9, so maybe I'll do the other kid's 9 meds at 8:30 because you have an hour window. So I'll do that kid's like 2 meds at 8:30. Make sure that kid gets the Tacro and all the G2 meds at 9, and then the other one that's not as important. You just kind of got to really just like prioritize, and you get better at that with time. Okay, it's 6 though, and I want to chill before my shift, so I feel like I answered a lot of these questions. Yeah, I'm so thankful for you guys for just supporting me along this journey and just being there every step of the way. I truly don't think I could have made it through my first year without you guys. You guys truly like hyped me up, supported me. Like just having this hype to go to work is just insane, and I just want everybody to be recognized, not just me. Like I know I'm a nurse that has a platform, but if you guys are a nursing student out there, has been a nurse, I'm so proud of you and I'm so thankful for you, and I wish you all the hype and amazingness. You are awesome. So yeah, let's do this last shift. I love you guys so much, and I hope this helped you in any way, shape, or form. Please continue to follow my journey if you would like. I'm going to share a lot more, and we have a whole new job to get. So I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video.